For decades, millions of people were afraid of eggs, not because they have toxins, not because they have low nutritional value, not because they are highly processed, but simply because they've been told that eggs raise cholesterol, eggs will make your arteries clogged up and cause heart disease. So many people simply avoided eggs. Some avoided egg yolks and switched to egg whites. And for years, this advice actually came from doctors, from nutritionists, and it was all over the TV programs all around the world. But there is an interesting part. While public has been told to fear eggs, generations of bodybuilders actually tried on eggs and ate eggs every single day. Arnold ate eggs, Frank Zane ate eggs, Lee Haney also ate eggs, Dorian Yates ate eggs, and every single professional bodybuilder ate eggs. So the question is, how is this possible that all these top bodybuilders, and not just bodybuilders, all other athletes, consume eggs on a daily basis? And how can both of these things be right at the same time? How could eggs be one of the most feared foods in nutrition and most respected food actually in bodybuilding at the same time? Because the story of eggs is much more than just about eggs. It's about how nutrition myths are created and how simple ideas become accepted truths. So let us start from the beginning. The fear of eggs did not appear overnight. It grew out of a larger fear, and this is the fear of cholesterol. So during the 20th century, heart disease became one of the leading causes of death in many developed countries. So researchers began to look for explanations, and every time they came across people with heart disease, they found that cholesterol was high. So the observation simply led to the simple conclusion that cholesterol was one to blame, actually, that was the main cause of heart disease. Immediately, food that contained cholesterol became blamed and saw as the cause of all heart diseases. Eggs immediately became a target. And the logic became very straightforward. Eat cholesterol and blood cholesterol rises. Arteries clog and heart disease develops. So, case closed. But there was the problem because human biology is much more complex than that. So the body does not simply elevate cholesterol because of the cholesterol that you eat, because the cholesterol that you bring via food, but also regulates cholesterol by producing cholesterol itself. So liver produces cholesterol on a daily basis, and simply because cholesterol is essential for all physiological processes. So it's so essential that even if you don't eat any cholesterol, your body will still produce cholesterol because it's simply necessary for maintaining all your physiological functions. For example, every cell membrane is made of cholesterol. Many hormones are basically made of cholesterol. The brain contains huge amount of cholesterol. Vitamin D production requires cholesterol. And without cholesterol, you wouldn't survive. So this was one of the reasons why the egg story became actually so confusing, because people began viewing cholesterol as something dangerous, something foreign, something harmful. But cholesterol is not a poison. It is actually essential. Is essential. Is a biological structure. Now, that doesn't mean that cholesterol levels are irrelevant. They matter. But the relationship between dietary cholesterol and blood cholesterol is much more complex than most people realize. So when dietary cholesterol increases, your natural production of cholesterol decreases. So this is something that is called homeostasis. So the body will always regulate the right amount of cholesterol necessary for all your tissues and hormonal, obviously every single cell in the body. And this is actually where that simplistic theory of eggs simply falls apart. Because eating cholesterol and having high blood cholesterol are not necessarily the same thing. But the fear was planted and people started avoiding eggs altogether. And they were throwing actually the most important part of the egg, which is the yolk. Some people were just eating egg whites for that reason. But what they didn't understand is that the yolk is actually where all these nutrients are, all these essential nutrients, like, for example, vitamins, minerals, healthy fats, choline, fat-soluble nutrients, and many other compounds that simply support health. So what actually happens when you eat an egg? The body starts digesting it immediately, start breaking down proteins and fats, start breaking protein down into amino acids. An egg is very rich with essential amino acids, which are absolutely necessary for healthy maintenance of all your tissues and organs, not to mention muscles, which are absolutely dependent on these essential amino acids. Also, the body starts breaking down fat and start absorbing it. All the other essential elements like minerals, vitamins, and other compounds are simply absorbed and delivered to the tissues which need them for essential repair, growth, and health. So nothing magical happens, nothing dangerous happens. Eggs are just a normal, healthy food, probably the best food that you can eat anyway. And simply body does what it has evolved for hundreds of thousands of years to do. It digests egg properly, breaking down to essential nutrients and elements and delivering them to the tissues for their necessary physiological functions. So if you look at the egg is actually something that nature designed to be the place where the life is going to begin. So everything that is absolutely necessary for life development is actually contained in egg. So all the necessary proteins, all the fats, the vitamins, the minerals, the building blocks of life itself. So perhaps this is not really surprising that eggs are actually one of the most nutrient-dense foods available to humans. So let us look closer at what is actually inside a single egg. Because many people think that eggs are just about cholesterol, but that couldn't be further away from the truth. A large egg contains anywhere from 6 to 7 grams of very high quality protein. That protein contains all 9 essential amino acids. In other words, all these essential amino acids are actually amino acids that human body cannot synthesize itself, so that they have to be taken via food. Food that contains all essential amino acids is actually the best food for us. And eggs are there on the first place because very high biological value of protein found in egg actually makes an egg a number one food with the highest biological value. Also, large egg contains around 6 grams of fat, and this is nothing to fear despite all this fear-mongering for decades. Fat is actually essential for hormone production, essential for cell membranes. So egg actually delivers the highest quality protein and also highest quality fat that you can have in any food. Fat is also essential for absorption of fat-soluble vitamins like A, D, E, and K. And without fat, these essential vitamins will not be absorbed. Now, eggs are also remarkably rich in vitamins, especially vitamin A, which is important for vision and immune function. Then you have vitamin D, which supports bone health, muscle function, and hormone production. Then you have vitamin E, which is one of the most powerful antioxidants. Then you have vitamin B12, which support all nerve functions and red blood cell production. Then you have riboflavin, folate, and several other B vitamins. Eggs also contain minerals. They contain selenium, one of the most important minerals in human body. Then contains iodine, which supports normal thyroid functions. And apart from that, it contains iron, zinc, and also some magnesium and potassium. And eggs also contain choline, which is a nutrient which is extremely important for optimal brain and liver functions. One egg provides roughly 150 milligrams of choline. So when you eat a few eggs a day, you actually satisfy all your necessary need for choline. Choline is especially important for liver because it helps liver to package triglycerides and transport them to the bloodstream. Now, in the lack of choline, people can develop fatty liver, and this is known for years now. So choline is especially, as I mentioned, important for liver health. Now, if we look at the generations of bodybuilders, we can conclude that every single one of them ate eggs. Obviously, there is something very, very essential because eggs give you the most important essential amino acids. They contain the highest quality protein. So you will never have better choice of protein than from eggs. So eating eggs on a daily basis is absolutely essential. So not only that eggs contain very high quality protein and all essential amino acids, as I said, but also they contain very high level of amino acids called leucine, which is extremely important for muscle growth. So leucine is the one that triggers muscle protein synthesis. In simple terms, leucine simply signals the body to build and repair muscle tissue. So now let us return to the subject that we actually started with the whole conversation, and this is cholesterol. Now the reality is that most people do not experience dramatic increase in blood cholesterol from eating eggs, and many studies have actually shown that eating eggs does not have a high impact or any impact on your cholesterol levels in most healthy individuals. Now some people are more responsive, some people are less responsive, but for majority of people the body regulates cholesterol remarkably well. And this makes sense because if you look historically, humans have always eaten food which is very high in cholesterol. Eggs and meat and everything else that was staple food for humans for hundreds of thousands of years was actually full of cholesterol. So if that was the case, the question is, how could have humans actually survived eating all this cholesterol if cholesterol is really that bad for our health? At this point, somebody may be thinking, are you saying that everybody should eat unlimited amount of eggs? No, absolutely not. What I'm saying is that for the majority of people, especially healthy individuals, eating eggs on a daily basis will not be harmful at all. But there are also people who may have genetic predispositions. They can be very high responders to cholesterol. There are people who, when they eat high cholesterol food, their cholesterol rises. And obviously, we are all different. But this is a minority of people. Some people have a different lifestyle, which may be not a very good lifestyle, and the lifestyle that may trigger many potential heart diseases, like, for example, inactivity, smoking, drinking, obesity, insulin resistance, diabetes, and many other conditions. So these individuals will have to be very careful, and for them, obviously, this advice does not apply. So these individuals who have this predisposition that can turn that cholesterol into the bad options for them, they should be consulting their physicians, they should be monitoring their cholesterol, their health in general, they should do their blood tests regularly and then see how they react when they eat high cholesterol foods. I'm not saying that everybody will respond perfectly to eating eggs and maybe high amount of eggs every day, maybe 4, 5, 6 eggs a day, but what I'm saying is that for majority of people, especially healthy individuals, eating eggs on a daily basis will be clearly very beneficial without any risk. One of the most interesting aspects of egg story is how dramatically opinions have changed. For years, dietary guidelines were always suggesting that people should lower amount of cholesterol in their diet, obviously targeting eggs in the first place. But as research accumulated, the picture became increasingly complicated. Scientists have realized that heart disease is not caused by a single nutrient, is not simply a cholesterol problem, and it's influenced by many factors. Number one, insulin resistance, then obesity, then inflammation, then smoking, then physical inactivity, then different metabolic dysfunctions, high blood pressure, poor sleep, stress, and many other variables. So human body is obviously a very complex system, and when we try to reduce health to a single nutrient, we often miss a much bigger picture. Clearly, a person who exercises regularly, eats healthily, has a good body composition, eats nutrient-dense food, sleeps well, and manages stress is very, very different than people who are inactive, who are eating unhealthy, who are constantly stressed, and don't live healthy lifestyle. Unfortunately, these distinctions are often lost in public discussions, and to simply blame eggs for everything is big oversimplification. People often ask me, Dr. Nash, do you eat eggs? And the answer is yes. I have been eating eggs all my life, probably from the age of 14, 15, every single day. And I still eat eggs. I eat 5 eggs every morning. And I do that simply because I know that the egg is the most nutrient-rich food that you can eat. Not just that, but contains all essential amino acids, necessary fat, and is very, very rich with all necessary vitamins and minerals that you need for daily maintenance and physiological functions in order to live healthy life, not just to build muscles. When it comes to building muscles, there is not nutrient denser food than eggs. So bodybuilders have been eating more eggs, like 10, 15, sometimes 20 eggs per day, and having phenomenal results. I'm not saying that you should eat 20 eggs a day or that you should eat 5 eggs a day. I'm just saying that I'm doing it because I know what eggs offer, and I have proven that in practice all my life. Eggs are so rich of all necessary macronutrients that you simply don't need any type of supplements regarding vitamins and minerals if you eat X amount of eggs every single day. Let us summarize now what we have discussed today. For decades, eggs were blamed for raising cholesterol and causing heart disease. Many people became afraid of eggs and stopped eating eggs. Some continue to eat just egg whites, simply throwing the most important part of the egg, the yolk, in the bin. But that was obviously a big mistake. But as research developed further and scientists discovered that actually eggs don't cause any significant changes in your blood lipids in healthy individuals, people started finally eat more eggs. They realized that eggs provide complete protein, provide all the necessary vitamins and minerals, and also provide choline, which is extremely important for your liver health. Eggs provide nutrients which are essential for muscle growth, for recovery, from brain function, and overall health. And for most healthy individuals, eggs actually remain one of the most nutritious food available. After 40 years in bodybuilding, competing 46 times, winning 17 titles, coaching over 3,500 clients, and helping them to get in the best shape of their lives, I have published for you 13 ebooks which are fully loaded with detailed explanation about everything you always wanted to know about bodybuilding. So if you want to deepen your knowledge and expand your horizons and finally start building muscles and burning body fat, click on the link in the comments and you can download my ebooks. I have also published for you Bodybuilding Blueprint course, which is made of 8 videos in which I personally demonstrate and explain the most effective exercises for all major muscle groups. So if you want to learn how to train in perfect form and stop wasting time in the gym, click on the same link in the comments and you can access my Bodybuilding Blueprint course. So guys, if you enjoyed this video, please subscribe to my channel, like the video, share the video, and send me your comments, and I will see you in the next video.